Beneath the surface, love, secrets, and suspicion. When trust is broken, love is put to the ultimate test. Chapter 1. Roots of Love. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the bustling streets of Kingston, Jamaica. The rhythmic beats of reggae music floated through the air, seamlessly with the vibrant colours and lively chatter of the Afro-Caribbean community. It was in this heart of Jamaica that Kemi first felt the pulse of her heritage, a rhythm that would later intertwine with her heart. Kemi, a striking woman of Jamaican descent, stood in her family's lush backyard, the scent of jerk spices mingling with the salty sea breeze. Her skin glowed under the fading sunlight, and her eyes sparkled with determination and warmth. Raised in a household that valued loyalty, love and resilience, Kemi had inherited these virtues, shaping her into a successful event planner, known for her meticulous attention to detail and her ability to bring people together. Across the ocean in London, Malik navigated the bustling streets with a sense of purpose. A second-generation Nigerian-British man, Malik was the epitome of discipline and dedication. His upbringing was steeped in Nigerian traditions, emphasizing respect, hard work, and community. As an accomplished engineer, Malik had carved out a reputation for his innovative solutions and unwavering commitment to his projects. Yet, beneath his composed exterior, Malik harbored a deep love for his Caribbean roots, a connection that would soon draw him closer to Kemi. Their paths crossed at a cultural festival in London, where the vibrant colours of Caribbean and African attire created a mesmerising tapestry against the city's modern skyline. Kemi was organising the event, ensuring every detail reflected the rich heritage she cherished. Malik, invited as a guest speaker on sustainable engineering, was captivated not only by the event's energy, but also by Kemi's infectious passion and grace. From that night forward, their lives became intertwined in a dance of love and ambition. Their relationship blossomed swiftly, fueled by shared dreams and mutual respect. They moved in together, blending their families and traditions into a harmonious household. Malik's disciplined nature balanced Kemi's creative spirit, and together, they thrived both professionally and personally. Their love story was the talk of the community. Friends admired their seamless partnership, both in business and in life. Kemi's event planning business flourished, hosting high-profile gatherings that celebrated Black and Caribbean culture, while Malik spearheaded engineering projects that aimed to uplift underprivileged neighbourhoods. They were pillars of their community, mentoring young Black youth and spearheading charitable initiatives that left a lasting impact. However, as the months passed, subtle cracks began to appear in their seemingly perfect relationship. Kemi noticed Malik's increasing absences and the distant look in his eyes that once held unwavering affection. Late nights at work became the norm, and when Malik was home, conversations felt forced and superficial. Kemi's mind, once at peace, began to wander into the realms of suspicion and doubt. One particularly quiet evening, as Kemi prepared a traditional Jamaican dinner, she glanced at her phone. Malik was nowhere to be seen, and his messages were infrequent and terse. The usual ease of their interactions had been replaced by a palpable tension. Her friends had warned her about the challenges of long-term relationships, but Kemi couldn't shake the feeling that something more sinister was at play. As the clock ticked past midnight, the apartment door swung open and Malik stepped inside. His smile was strained, his eyes tired and distant. "Hey, love," he greeted her, the warmth in his voice noticeably diminished. Kemi forced a smile, masking her unease. "How was work?" "Busy," Malik replied curtly, avoiding her gaze. The once unbreakable bond they shared now felt fragile, like glass teetering on the edge of shattering. As Malik took his dinner to the living room, Kemi sat alone at the table, the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. They had always been a team, but now, It seemed they were slowly drifting apart, two strangers navigating the same space without truly connecting. Chapter 2. Whispers of Infidelity. The following weeks were a blur of unanswered questions and mounting suspicions. Kemi's intuition, honed by years of nurturing and community involvement, screamed that something was amiss. Malik's distance was more pronounced, his excuses increasingly hollow. The foundation of trust that once seemed unshakable now wavered under the weight of doubt. One rainy afternoon, Kemi met her best friend Amara at their favourite cafe, a cosy, eclectic spot adorned with vibrant murals and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. They settled into a secluded corner, the sounds of soft jazz and clinking cups providing a comforting backdrop. Kemi's mind raced with the possibilities of Malik's behaviour, each thought darker than the last. Amara, a compassionate and observant woman, watched Kemi closely, her own heart heavy with an unspoken burden. After a moment of hesitation, she reached across the table, placing a reassuring hand on Kemi's. "Kemi, there's something you need to know," she began, her voice barely above a whisper. Kemi leaned in, her anxiety palpable. "What is it?" Amara's eyes darted around the cafe, ensuring no one was listening. "I saw Malik with another woman a few nights ago." The words hit Kemi like a punch to the gut. Her heart pounded, and her vision blurred momentarily. "Are you sure it was him?" she asked, her voice trembling. Amara nodded solemnly. "I saw them at the nightclub on Clifton Street. They seemed close, too close." Kemi's mind reeled. That was the very night Malik had claimed to be working late on a crucial project, a story that now seemed increasingly implausible. The seed of doubt that Amara had planted quickly grew into a consuming suspicion. Unable to contain her turmoil, Kemi began scrutinizing every aspect of Malik's life. His phone, once a window into their shared lives, became a fortress she couldn't breach. She noticed the way he avoided her gaze, the way his phone was always face down on the table, and the subtle changes in his demeanor. Late nights became more frequent, and his explanations grew more evasive. One evening, as they sat together in their dimly lit living room, the silence between them was deafening. Kemi's thoughts spiraled uncontrollably. Who was this woman? Was Malik truly unfaithful, or was there something else he was hiding? Determined to find the truth, Kemi started to piece together the fragments of her fractured reality. She reached out to mutual friends, trying to gather information, but most were tight-lipped, respecting Malik's privacy, or perhaps fearing the repercussions of speaking out. The tension at home became unbearable. Every interaction was tinged with suspicion and unspoken accusations. Kemi's once serene life was now a battleground of emotions, with trust eroding beneath the surface. One night, unable to bear the uncertainty any longer, Kemi decided to follow Malik. She trailed him through the winding streets of their neighborhood, her heart racing with fear and anticipation. Malik led her to an upscale nightclub on Clifton Street, the very place Amara had mentioned. Hidden in the shadows, Kemi watched as Malik engaged in a heated conversation with the mysterious woman. Their interaction was intimate, filled with whispered words and lingering touches that confirmed her worst fears. Kemi's world crumbled as the realization sank in. The man she loved, the man she trusted, was involved in something far more complicated than infidelity. Her journey from suspicion to uncovering hidden secrets had only just begun, setting the stage for revelations that would test the very fabric of their relationship. Chapter 3. A Fatal Mistake. The revelation of Malik's possible infidelity sent Kemi spiraling into a vortex of emotions. Every glance, every gesture, was now scrutinized for hidden meanings. The once harmonious relationship was now punctuated by moments of pain and confusion, each day becoming more unbearable than the last. Determined to confront Malik and uncover the truth, Kemi decided that the time had come to address her fears head-on. She rehearsed the conversation countless times, seeking the right words to bridge the widening chasm between them. One tense evening, after Malik had returned from yet another late night, Kemi approached him with a mixture of fear and resolve. They sat down at the dining table, the room eerily silent except for the ticking of the clock. "Malik, I need to ask you something," Kemi began, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. Malik looked up from his phone, his brows furrowed with confusion. "What's up?" Taking a deep breath, Kemi continued, "Who's the woman you've been seen with? Amara told me she saw you at the nightclub on Clifton Street." Malik's eyes widened in surprise, and for a moment, Kemi feared she had misheard. "What are you talking about, Kemi?" Before she could respond, Malik's expression hardened. "It's not what you think," he said, standing up abruptly. His voice was low and defensive, the anger simmering beneath the surface. Kemi's heart raced. "Then tell me, because I've heard things, Malik, and you haven't been yourself. You haven't been here." "You don't understand," Malik snapped, his frustration evident. "I'm dealing with things I can't explain right now." Kemi felt a pang of desperation. "And you think that's enough for me? That I'll just sit here and wait for you to come clean?" The room seemed to close in around her as Kemi's voice cracked, revealing the depth of her vulnerability. Tears welled up in her eyes, blurring her vision. She had never felt so exposed, so unsure of the man she had pledged her life to. Malik, seemingly overwhelmed by the confrontation, grabbed his jacket. "I need some space, Kemi," he muttered, turning to leave. Before she could reach out to him, he was gone, leaving Kemi alone with the fragments of their shattered relationship. The door closed with a heavy thud, and the silence that followed was deafening. That night, Kemi lay in bed, her mind a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. The argument replayed endlessly, each replay deepening her sense of loss and confusion. She tried to reach out to Malik, but his phone remained silent, adding to her growing unease. Days turned into restless nights, and Kemi found herself haunted by the uncertainty of Malik's actions. Her once stable and fulfilling life was now overshadowed by the looming threat of betrayal and the dark secrets that Malik seemed desperate to hide. The final blow came the next morning when Kemi received an unexpected phone call from the police. Her world came crashing down as she learned that Malik's best friend, David, had been brutally murdered. Worse still, Malik had been with David on the night of the murder, a fact that immediately cast suspicion on him. The news felt surreal, as if she were living in a nightmare. Kemi struggled to comprehend the gravity of the situation. Malik, the man she loved and trusted, was now entangled in a web of murder and mystery. The accusations, the pain, and the uncertainty threatened to destroy everything they had built together. In that moment, Kemi realized that the challenges they faced were far more complex and dangerous than she had ever imagined. Her quest for the truth had led her into a labyrinth of secrets and lies, setting the stage for a journey that would test her resilience and the very core of her love for Malik. Chapter 4: A Community in Mourning. The news of David's murder reverberated through the community like a shockwave, leaving everyone in a state of disbelief and sorrow. David Thompson was not just Malik's best friend. He was a beloved figure, known for his charisma, generosity, and unwavering dedication to helping others. His sudden and violent death left a void that seemed impossible to fill. Kemi stood at the periphery of the funeral procession, watching as mourners from all walks of life paid their respects. The vibrant community that had once thrived with life and laughter now moved in hushed tones, the air heavy with grief. Black flags adorned the gravesite, symbolizing the loss felt by the entire neighborhood. Malik arrived at the funeral, his demeanor shattered. Friends and family surrounded him, offering condolences, but their sympathy was tainted with suspicion. Whispers circulated, fueled by the circumstances surrounding David's death and Malik's presence that night. The community, already grappling with loss, now grappled with doubt and fear. Kemi approached Malik, her heart aching at the sight of his broken spirit. "I'm so sorry," she whispered, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. But Malik barely met her gaze, his silence speaking volumes. The days that followed were a blur of police investigations and community speculation. Malik was questioned extensively, but he remained tight-lipped, offering little solace to the growing unease. Kemi watched as the people she trusted began to turn their eyes towards Malik with suspicion and doubt. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed that David had gotten involved with dangerous individuals, while others pointed fingers at Malik, wondering if there was more to their relationship than met the eye. The once unblemished image of Malik began to tarnish, and the community's trust in him wavered. Kemi felt the weight of the accusations pressing down on her. Her mind was a battleground of love and doubt, struggling to reconcile the man she knew with the suspicions that clouded her thoughts. She tried to remain supportive, but the emotional toll was immense. Each day brought new challenges as Kemi navigated the complexities of grief, suspicion, and the unraveling of her relationship with Malik. One evening, as they sat together in their living room, the silence between them was palpable. The weight of the day's events hung heavy in the air, suffocating any attempt at normalcy. "I know people are talking," Malik said softly, breaking the silence. "But I didn't do anything, Kemi. You have to believe me." Kemi looked into his eyes, searching for the truth. "I want to believe you, Malik, but the evidence seems stacked against you. How can I trust that you're telling the truth?" Malik's frustration was evident. "You have to trust me. I would never hurt David. We were like brothers." Kemi's heart ached with the realization that the man she loved was now struggling to prove his innocence. The community's judgment weighed heavily on her, making her feel isolated and torn between loyalty and doubt. As the days turned into weeks, the tension within their home mirrored the turmoil in the community. Friends who once offered support now distanced themselves, and Kemi found herself questioning everything she thought she knew about Malik. The once vibrant love that had defined their relationship was now overshadowed by fear and uncertainty. In the midst of the mourning and suspicion, Kemi resolved to uncover the truth. Determined to clear Malik's name and restore their relationship, she began to delve deeper into David's life, searching for any clues that might explain his untimely death. Her journey was fraught with obstacles, but her unwavering love and determination fueled her every step. Chapter 5: Secrets Uncovered. Determined to uncover the truth behind David's murder and Malik's potential involvement, Kemi harnessed her problem-solving skills, once solely dedicated to her thriving event planning business. Her meticulous nature now focused on piecing together the fragmented puzzle that surrounded Malik and David. Kemi began by revisiting the night of David's death, scrutinizing every detail she could recall. She reached out to mutual friends and acquaintances, gathering snippets of conversations and rumors that painted a complex picture. What emerged was a tangled web of financial troubles, debts, and veiled threats that hinted at deeper issues than mere infidelity. One evening, Kemi decided to go through Malik's belongings, seeking answers that he had meticulously hidden. Her heart pounded as she sifted through his phone, email accounts, and personal notes. Among the clutter, she discovered a series of cryptic text messages between Malik and David. The conversations were filled with references to money, urgent meetings, and veiled threats, language that hinted at something far more sinister than personal betrayal. One message, in particular, stood out, sending chills down her spine. It was a text from David to Malik, stating, "We need to talk. He's threatening my family now." The implications were clear. David was under threat. and Malik was somehow involved in a situation that endangered lives beyond their own. Kemi's mind raced with questions. Who was threatening David? Why was Malik involved? Was there a connection between Malik's mysterious woman and these ominous threats? The more she uncovered, the more she realized that the situation was far more complex and dangerous than she had initially thought. As she delved deeper, Kemi began to notice changes in Malik's behavior. He was increasingly erratic, constantly on edge, and his phone never seemed to rest. When she confronted him about the messages, Malik brushed her off, insisting that she didn't need to worry. But Kemi couldn't ignore the mounting evidence that suggested otherwise. Determined to protect her family and uncover the truth, Kemi enlisted the help of a trusted friend, Jamal, who had experience in investigative research. Together, they began to dig into David's background, uncovering connections to local criminal elements and unresolved financial disputes. The trail led them to a network of individuals who had more to gain from David's silence than his continued life. One night, while following a lead, Kemi and Jamal found themselves in a dangerous confrontation. They stumbled upon a meeting between Malik and an unknown associate, discussing terms that were too vague to understand fully. Before they could gather any concrete evidence, the pair was ambushed, narrowly escaping with their lives. The attack only confirmed that they were treading on dangerous ground, but Kemi's resolve only strengthened. As the pieces of the puzzle began to align, Kemi realized that Malik was not just a victim of circumstance, but a key player in a much larger scheme. The stakes were higher than she had ever imagined, and the danger was escalating rapidly. With each revelation, Kemi found herself deeper in a world of secrets, lies, and perilous alliances, all in the name of love and justice. Her journey was far from over, and the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty. But Kemi was unwavering in her determination to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. The love she had for Malik was now intertwined with a mission to save him, their relationship, and their community from the shadows that threatened to consume them. Chapter 6: Twists of Fate. Just when Kemi felt overwhelmed by the mounting evidence and the perilous path she was treading, a glimmer of hope emerged from an unexpected source. It was a late afternoon when her phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. Hesitant, yet driven by desperation, she answered, only to hear a calm and authoritative voice on the other end. "Hello, is this Kemi Johnson?" the voice inquired. "Yes, this is Kemi," she replied cautiously. "Who is this?" "My name is Serena," the woman introduced herself. "I'm a private investigator. I've been hired by Malik to look into a blackmail situation." Kemi's heart skipped a beat. The pieces of the puzzle were beginning to fit together, but questions still lingered. "Blackmail? What do you mean?" Serena continued, her tone reassuring yet urgent. "Malik's brother, whom you believed lived abroad, has been involved in serious criminal activities. For years, Malik has been trying to distance himself from his brother's dealings, but recently, threats have surfaced. Criminals are blackmailing Malik into helping his brother or facing dire consequences." Kemi felt a mix of relief and confusion. "So, the woman Malik was seen with, was it you?" Serena confirmed. "Yes, we've been working together to gather evidence and clear Malik's name. The woman was me, assisting Malik in navigating this dangerous situation." As Serena explained further, Kemi began to understand the depth of Malik's struggles. The threats were not just against David, but extended to Malik and his family, forcing him into a precarious position. David, it turned out, had become entangled in the same web of criminality that Malik was desperately trying to escape. David owed money to these criminals, Serena revealed, and when he couldn't pay, things escalated. Malik tried to intervene to protect both David and himself, but it backfired, leading to David's untimely death. Kemi's mind raced to process the information. Malik had never been unfaithful. He had been entangled in a fight for survival, trying to shield her and their community from the darkness that now surrounded them. The revelation shifted her perspective, replacing suspicion with empathy and a newfound determination to stand by Malik's side. "Thank you for telling me this," Kemi said, her voice filled with emotion. "I had no idea." Serena nodded. "There's more we need to do. Carlos, the leader of the criminal group, is dangerous and will stop at nothing to protect his interests. We need to gather irrefutable evidence to bring him down." With Serena's involvement, Kemi felt a renewed sense of purpose. She and Malik were no longer alone in their fight. They had allies who understood the gravity of the situation and were committed to seeing them through. As the truth unfolded, Kemi and Malik's relationship deepened. The trials they faced had tested their bond, but now, united by a common goal, they found strength in each other. Together, they navigated the treacherous landscape of threats and deceit, determined to emerge victorious. The twists of fate had brought them to the brink, but with resilience and unwavering love, Kemi and Malik were ready to confront the real enemy. Their journey was far from over, but with each step, they moved closer to justice and the restoration of their lives and community. Chapter 7: The Final Confrontation. Armed with the information Serena provided, Kemi and Malik felt a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that confronting Carlos, the leader of the criminal network, was the only way to bring closure to David's death and clear Malik's name. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but their determination outweighed their fear. The plan was meticulously crafted. Serena had gathered substantial evidence against Carlos, including secret recordings, text messages, and photographs linking him to the blackmail, threats, and David's murder. However, the evidence alone wasn't enough. They needed to confront Carlos directly to ensure he could no longer pose a threat. One evening, under the cover of darkness, Kemi, Malik, and Serena met at a hidden location arranged by Serena. The abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town provided the perfect backdrop for the confrontation. The air was thick with tension as they prepared for what was to come. Malik's hands trembled slightly, his mind racing with a mix of fear and determination. Kemi squeezed his hand, offering silent support. Serena reviewed the final details, ensuring that every precaution was in place. As they approached the warehouse, the gravity of the moment settled over them. The flickering streetlights cast eerie shadows, and the distant sounds of the city seemed muted, swallowed by the oppressive darkness. Inside, Carlos awaited, his presence menacing and authoritative. Carlos was a formidable figure, exuding power and intimidation. His cold, calculating eyes bore into Malik and Kemi, a smirk playing on his lips as he recognized the threat they posed. "So, you finally decided to show up," he taunted, his voice dripping with arrogance. Serena stepped forward, her demeanor unwavering. "Carlos, it's over. We have everything we need to bring you down." Carlos's smirk faltered, replaced by a look of genuine anger. "You think you can just walk in here and ruin everything I've built? You're making a big mistake." Malik stepped beside Serena, his voice steady despite the turmoil within. "No, Carlos, you're the one making a mistake. Your reign of terror ends tonight." The confrontation escalated as emotions flared. Carlos, realizing he was cornered, attempted to assert his dominance, but Serena was prepared. She revealed the damning evidence they had collected, presenting it with undeniable clarity. Secret recordings captured Carlos threatening David, texts detailing the blackmail, and photos linking him directly to the night of the murder. As the evidence mounted, Carlos's facade began to crumble. He reached for his phone, trying to make a call, but Serena was quick to act, confiscating the device. The moment of truth was upon them. Malik took a deep breath, his eyes never leaving Carlos's. "It's over. The authorities are on their way." Carlos's expression shifted from anger to desperation. He realized that his empire was collapsing and there was no escape. In a final act of defiance, he lunged towards Malik, but Serena intervened, restraining him until the police arrived. Within moments, sirens pierced the night air, and law enforcement officers stormed the warehouse, taking Carlos into custody. The confrontation had been swift but decisive, ensuring that Carlos would no longer pose a threat to Malik, Kemi, or the community. As the adrenaline subsided, Kemi and Malik embraced, relief washing over them. The ordeal had tested their limits, but they had emerged victorious, their love and determination prevailing against all odds. In the aftermath, the community began to heal. Carlos's arrest brought a sense of closure and justice, restoring faith in Malik's innocence and reaffirming the strength of their bond. Kemi and Malik had not only survived, but had also strengthened their relationship, proving that love and resilience could overcome even the darkest of challenges. Chapter 8: Justice and Forgiveness. With Carlos apprehended and the truth laid bare, a wave of relief washed over Kemi and Malik. The darkness that had once clouded their lives was lifting, replaced by a newfound clarity and hope. However, the emotional scars from the past months remained, a reminder of the trials they had endured together. The legal proceedings against Carlos were swift, thanks to the overwhelming evidence Serena and Kemi had gathered. The community watched with bated breath as justice was served, the courtroom becoming a battleground where truth and righteousness prevailed. Malik's name was officially cleared, and the accusations that had once threatened to tear him apart were now proven baseless. Despite the victory, the emotional toll was immense. The strain of suspicion, the near-death confrontation, and the relentless pursuit of justice had left Kemi and Malik exhausted. They found themselves grappling with a mix of emotions: relief, sorrow, and a deep sense of gratitude for each other's unwavering support. One quiet evening, as they sat together in their living room, the weight of recent events pressing down on them, Kemi reached out, placing her hand gently on Malik's. "We made it through," she whispered, her voice cracking with emotion. Malik nodded, his eyes meeting hers with a mixture of relief and sorrow. "I know. I'm so sorry you had to go through this. I never wanted you to see this side of me." Tears welled up in Kemi's eyes as she squeezed his hand. "We were on the brink of losing everything because of misunderstandings and secrets, but we fought through it together." Their journey to justice had not only exonerated Malik, but also unveiled the depth of their love and commitment. They had faced betrayal, fear, and tragedy, yet here they stood, stronger and more united than ever. The community too began to heal. David's family found closure, and the neighborhood slowly returned to its vibrant self. The scars left by Carlos's reign of terror faded as the community banded together to rebuild and support one another. Kemi and Malik became symbols of resilience, their story inspiring others to stand strong in the face of adversity. As the days turned into weeks, Kemi and Malik started to rebuild their lives, piece by piece. They attended counseling sessions to process their trauma, finding solace in each other's presence. The trust that had been tested and strained was now being rebuilt on a foundation of honesty and mutual respect. One evening, as they walked hand in hand through the park, the city lights twinkling around them, Malik stopped and turned to face Kemi. He took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. "Kemi, I know I can't change the past, but I want to make sure we never go through something like this again. I want to be completely honest with you, always." Kemi smiled, her heart swelling with love. "I want that too, Malik. Transparency, trust, and unwavering support. We've been given a second chance, and I don't want to waste it." They embraced under the canopy of stars, the challenges they had faced now serving as the foundation for a deeper, more resilient love. Their bond had been tested by fire, and it had emerged unbroken. As the seasons changed, so did their lives. The turmoil of the past months gave way to a period of healing and renewal. Kemi and Malik found joy in the simple moments, cherishing the love that had carried them through the darkest times.
The Truth About Black Love explores the multifaceted truth about love, offering a platform for voices that are often underrepresented in mainstream narratives. We hope that you enjoyed the story. And remember, as always, Black love is powerful and beautiful.